Hello everybody and welcome back to another video for the day. We're going back into r/AmITheDevil because I've seen the positive feedback regarding these storytime format videos, so I figured you might like a little bit more of them. So if you guys would like to be absolutely amazing, show your support and see more videos like this one in the near future, be sure to hit the like button, leave a comment down below to start up them wholesome internet discussions, and if you guys have not already, subscribe to the channel and turn on them notifications. I said something very horribly to a friend out of revenge, and now I can't even face her. I'm using a throwaway account. Oh, that's a shocker. A few months ago, I am 23, said something really horrible to a friend, and now she won't even look at me or let me apologize. My very close friend, 23F, Emily, fake name, and I started going to the same university that provides advanced courses. I was doing accounting, and she was doing the bar training course. She wants to be a barista. I know Emily since secondary school, and we went to the same university. Emily is a victim of GR, and was brutally had that on her when she was in secondary school. I won't go into details, but it was a robbery gone wrong, and she was walking home from school, and it was extremely brutal. Emily, since then, only has kept herself in a small bubble. I was there for Emily for the whole time, and I actually really care for her, but I messed up big time. Around 2 months ago, Emily was talking in the corridor with some of her peers and tutors in the corridor, and I was just standing there. At the time, Emily and I had a bit of a fallout. Emily has a friend from her course, and I am attracted to her. I had asked the friend for her number, but she didn't give it to me. I had then asked Emily to give me her number instead, and I can talk to her into it. I wasn't trying to be creepy, I just thought if I spoke to her properly, she would change her mind. But Emily refused to, and said that she can't give me her number if she has already refused. She also said I was acting creepy and weird, and that I need to stop. We had a fallout and argued for a couple of days. The day we were in the corridor, we were not talking to each other as much. They were talking about pupillage and further jobs, and Emily was talking about how she needs to build her CV and gain experience, because it's difficult to secure a job/pupillage. I don't know what got into me at that point, and without thinking, I made a very nasty remark. I said to her that she needed experience anyways, and that she could just write her story of GR, and anyone would give her job out of pity. At that point, everything changed. Her expression and the atmosphere, and everyone was just stopped staring right at me. Emily's expression was as if she would just start crying, and at the moment I realized what I had exactly said. She didn't say anything to me and just laughed and said regardless that she still needs experience. And then she excused herself and went to the library. At that point, everyone made a nasty face at me, and I just looked at Emily's friend, who was looking at me in a pathetic expression that I could just tell that she probably hates me. I have tried calling Emily, standing outside of her house, and even tried talking to her at the university, but she always acts as if she doesn't see me. She is not giving me a chance to explain myself, and I hate that. I really care for her, and I'm absolutely hating myself for getting my feelings in the way. I don't know what to do. She won't even look at me. She is a very dear friend to me. We have had great memories together, and I hate that I have absolutely ruined that amazing relationship we had. I don't know what to do and how I can get Emily to forgive me. I am totally lost and wish I hadn't said anything on that day. I wish I hadn't gotten my ego in the way. I know she hasn't told anyone like her family or mutual friends, because I haven't received any texts or anything like that, but she acts as if I don't exist. I just wish she can give me another chance. Ah yes, another chance to make a joke like that. What a wonderful thing. Holy shit, why would you do that? Oh, hey, can you give me this number to this other girl? Okay, well, even though she already said no, can you do it? Okay, I've stood outside of your house. Okay, you know what? Bringing up total horrible trauma. Yeah, no, that totally seemed like the right thing to do. And here's the thing: if you don't have any words to say, don't frickin' say them. how about you just have the general mindset to not bring up anything that mentally affects anybody in a horrendous way? How about you go with that? That would be a good start. Or, maybe just not bring it up at all, like everybody else in the world that has common sense to do so. So, maybe don't bring up such a horrendous thing, but yeah, no. Hey, give me a second chance? Yeah, dude, yeah, good luck on that one. And really, you're upset that she doesn't happen to want to know that you exist anymore? Gee, dang, it's almost as if that was a proper response to everything, and I would not want to know that you exist either. You are so lucky that the family don't know. I know for a fact if you're close friends with the parents and you said this stuff and they know, somebody's butt getting whooped. Am I the a-hole for calling my boyfriend bad for talking bad about my best friend? I am really close to my BFF, Eve. We are practically attached at the hip, and words cannot explain how much she means to me. She's my ride and die. We've been friends for over 15 years and always will be. I met my current boyfriend a year ago, and I really love him. I could saw 100 amazing things about him. I really appreciate that we have similar thoughts on friendships. He has talked about how platonic friendships and relationships aren't lesser than romantic relationships and how much his best friend means to him. I love his best friend, and their dynamic is super cute. My BF is different from Eve. He is fundamentally a good person. It's rare to find, but true. Eve has always had her bad side, but I love her no matter what. She slept with my ex-boyfriend in high school for multiple years. She wanted to tell me, but he kept saying that I would never speak to them again. So she got scared and didn't. I was upset, but forgave her because I love her. She's like my sister, and I knew our friendship wouldn't die there. I told my boyfriend this story, but I left out that it was Eve. Later, we were drinking with his BFF, and I confessed it was her. They were both shocked, and after that, the BF was never the same around her. He wasn't rude, but he wasn't friendly either. He never said anything, but I could tell that he didn't like her. I have access to his phone, so I went to his messages and typed Eve to see what came up. What she was saying about him, I know I shouldn't have, but I was beyond curious. And he has said before that he doesn't really mind me looking through his phone. But the messages were just full of him bad-talking him or her with a best friend. He was saying that he feels bad for me, like Eve is the worst friend that you can have. And who would sleep with someone's boyfriend for years? And she gives me bad vibes. I was just full of him trash-talking her. He also said she thinks the problem was the toxic boy, but the problem also is her toxic friend. Should have thrown them both out. I was freaking pissed, and horrified, and upset. I was crying and showed him the text and said that I can't believe that he would say that about Eve. She's like my sister, and he's bad-talking her. I just went off on him and started crying and yelling that it was horrible. I just don't get how he can blame her for things I forgave her for, and how he can talk to her about like that. Eve is amazing. Am I the a-hole, or did he cross a line with what he said about her? I'm just horrified because he should love my BFF as much as he loves me. But he clearly doesn't. Let me get this straight. Your ex at the time happens to be sleeping around with your best friend for years on end, and you see absolutely nothing wrong with it just because they're your BFF. Anybody that happens to condone cheating and on your significant other, you're horrible in my books. I don't care how long or how close you are to me. If you do that, I will very much think of you in a negative way, because doing that is going back on an agreement that is just, you're instantly a trash human being if you do that. Oh yeah, and also way to go not trusting your current partner because you go through their phone so casually. You think that might actually be because of the whole past instances of cheating? You want to make sure that your current boyfriend is not repeating the actions of your last boyfriend, so you have a bit of a trust issue? Am I the a-hole for making my son apologize to my nephew for having a tantrum and making a scene? Me, 42F, and my husband, 47F, have a son, 14M. I'll call him Lucas. Lucas is generally a sweet and kind kid. He's friendly, he's very open, he likes to read comics and draw. I think he's pretty good at it. I'm really proud of him. I couldn't wish for a better son. Anyways, Lucas has been visiting my sister, 28F, for 3 days. My sister has a son, 8M Gabriel. I was hoping Lucas would be friends with him. I exchanged messages with Lucas, and he always said it's going okay. Yesterday, I went to my sister's house to pick up Lucas, and she looked really hurt. Lucas was sitting there glum as well. I asked what was wrong, and my sister told me to ask my son that question. It took me a long time to convince Lucas to tell me the truth, and he finally admitted what was wrong. As I understand it, Gabriel was curious about what Lucas was drawing. He had his sketchbooks with him. Lucas let him see his sketchbooks, but told him that Gabriel should handle them carefully. But when Lucas was outside, Gabriel, with his mother's permission, as I understand it, and I'm not excusing her for this, decided to check Lucas's things. When Lucas returned to the house, he found his sketchbooks torn up. I mean, I'm not excusing what Gabriel did. But, according to my sister, my son didn't want to call me or my husband, and he didn't want to hear Gabriel's excuses. He threw a tantrum and called Gabriel a ton of names, even though my sister said he was just a kid. All these days, the atmosphere in the house was tense. My sister didn't call me because she was offended. My sister said that she didn't even know if she still would want me or my son at their house after that. I said Lucas should apologize to Gabriel and his mom. Lucas was offended, but did so. When we got home, I asked why Lucas didn't tell me that Gabriel had torn up his sketchbooks. Lucas cried and said, "Because you never care." Those words hurt me deeply and were a low blow because I really love my son, and I didn't think he could say those words to his own mom. But I promised him that I would buy him a new sketchbook and he could redraw his drawings in them. But my husband thinks I acted like an a-hole in this situation, and Gabriel and my sister were wrong. Edit. Okay, I realized I was being an a-hole because I didn't even ask if Gabriel apologized to my son. Today, I bought Lucas new sketchbooks and apologized. Lucas no longer looks offended. For those wondering, I was hoping that the boys would become friends because Lucas has always been good with kids, and Gabriel has no friends. Ah, okay, I get it. Okay, so basically, a kid had torn up your kid's sketchbooks, and you made your kid apologize to the other kid because they happened to have responded accordingly. And way to go having the title of this one stating that your son had a tantrum. Meanwhile, it was just, like I said, an appropriate response to having his stuff destroyed. You're really losing that Mother of the Year mug at a remarkable rate now, are you? I sent my ex-GF to the ER, and I regret it. A little background: 32M, hate cheaters. My father, 59M, was a serial cheater, but my mother, 57F, didn't leave because she was dependent on him. As soon as I was able, I took my mother and left his house. It had been 10 years since I had spoken to him. My ex, 29F, GF of 12 years at that time, knew it. One night, I came back from work to find both my mother and a GF upset, but they wouldn't tell me, so I figured it was some woman thing. But that night, my GF left the room, and I followed her to find them arguing. The story is, my GF was planning to meet with some guy, but my mother, I guess thanks to her experience with my father, knew something was up and followed her. She prevented my GF from sleeping with that man and wanted to tell. Since nothing happened, she hoped I could forgive and try to repair the relations. But my GF was against it, hence her fight. When I understood the situation, I went in and told my girlfriend to leave the same night. Typical to cheater, as she blamed me and begged. But since my mind was already made up, she got mad, but not at me. At my mother, and even tried to attack her. And this is where I was an a-hole. I started recording when I heard them arguing, so I had proof. I could claim that I was protecting my mother, so I hit her face as hard as I could. We called an ambulance, and she spent the night in the hospital, and then a week in bed. And as expected, everyone accepted the explanation of me protecting my mother. Even my mother thinks I just reacted, but I know it's not the case. I could have used less strength. I could even stop before she reached my mother. But no, I was so angry that all I wanted was to hurt her. And now I have the image of her knocked out in my head. Edit! No one accepted my ex's parents talked harshly to me. Thank you for calling me out. I guess I needed that. Also, thank you to those who tried to defend me. It was nice of you, but don't hit someone in anger, because when you calm down, it never feels good. That being said, there were some few misconceptions in the comments I would like to correct. Not that it would change anything though. Also, I would like to answer some common questions. First, my ex is okay now. I have seen her from time to time since we live in the same city. You will be glad to know that I am no longer in a relationship and don't plan to ever. This was the first time I hurt someone, and it will also be the last. Where I'm from, people don't really believe in therapy. They don't even believe in allergies, so I haven't tried. But, well, it might help. I know I have issues. And yes, my ex did try to cheat. She admitted it herself. It was not just my mother's story. No, I didn't escalate the situation into a fight so I could hit her. I started recording when I was still hiding and listening to them. It is something I learned from Reddit. After a breakup, one party lies to blame the other by spreading lies. So, when I understood that my mother and ex were talking about, I started recording. When I had enough, I went into the living room and told her to leave my house. Yes, my mother was in danger. My ex literally jumped on her. I know 57 is not too old, but she could have been badly hurt. Still, I know I could have restrained my ex instead of hitting her like that. Yeah, maybe restraining them instead of clocking them upside the head might have been a frickin' good idea on that one. Was I wrong for telling my son and my friend that they shouldn't have left my wife alone at home? Posting here too. My M28, wife F27, and I had our son M12 early. My wife is a very sensitive and vulnerable person. She was suffering from depression, bipolar disorder, anxiety for several years, and have a problem with alcohol and the green stuff. She's clean for 5 years. Me, myself, and her parents did the hard work saving her. Until 2022, I worked from home, and I was able to be home all day. I was always there for my wife when she needed help. Our son knows that his mom needs help often, and he is accustomed to always being there for her if I'm not home. He is old enough to make her breakfast, help with grocery shopping, etc. A week ago, me, my friend, and my wife and our son went on a little trip into the next town. We rented a house, 1 kilometer to the beach and sea, and for the duration of the trip. 2 days ago, my wife got very upset and cried because I ordered her salad and it fell on the ground. I comforted her the best I could, but she got worse. Yesterday, I went grocery shopping by car. On the way, I hit a traffic jam and my phone ran out of battery. Unfortunately, I forgot to bring my charger. According to my friend, his wife called him and said that their daughter was having severe abdominal pain. My friend called me, but my phone was off, so he got in his car and drove to his daughter. My son stayed with my wife. According to my son, my wife wanted to take a nap. He told her he would play in the yard. About 1 hour later, my wife shows up. She was making a tantrum again. She thought I was missing or had been in a car accident. According to my son, my wife ran out of the house and went towards the sea. He couldn't catch up with her and couldn't find her. She came back 20 to 30 minutes later and was crying. She said that she had lost me. My son comforted her and told her that they would find me. Luckily, I came back just in the nick of time. When I was on the phone with my wife's parents, her father got really mad at me. He asked why the F I had his daughter home alone. I later asked my friend and my son the same question. They knew how hard my wife was going through. How could they leave her home alone? Then they knew I had gone grocery shopping, and they knew that there was no one to look after her. My friend suddenly got angry with me. He said that he was tired of having custody of a grown woman of 27, and that he was not a babysitter for my wife. On top of all this, he said that my child is my son, not my wife, and that my son is not a parent. I said that my son doesn't suffer from mental disorders like my wife, and that it's his mom. It shouldn't be hard for him to help her. My friend hung up the phone. If you need to have somebody looking after your wife, very, very frequently you get in-house help. Not asking your buddies to do you a solid, or getting your son to basically be parent for their parent. There's gotta be something that's not being said, because depression, bipolar disorder, anxiety, those three don't warrant the kind of acts that would require in-house help like what you described later in your story. I definitely feel like something's being left out of this. But with that, that is going to have to be it with the video. If you guys would love to be absolutely amazing, show your support and see more videos like this one in the near future, be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment down below to start up them wholesome internet discussions, and if you guys have not already, subscribe to the channel and turn on them notifications. I'll be sure to see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and bye-bye!